don't know. It's gonna be crazy. It should be crazy. You know, Crawford and Canelo. I'm pretty sure.
Shakur and Tank?
Yeah, that would be dope.
Surprising reports suggest that a potential showdown between Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis will be on the undercard of Canelo vs. Crawford in September. While Stevenson is interested, he prefers the fight to headline its own event. Shakur Stevenson has responded to the possibility of facing Gervonta Davis on the undercard of the highly anticipated Canelo Alvarez vs. Terence Crawford fight. He has resisted the notion that adding Stevenson vs. Davis would increase the event's magnitude, despite Terence Crawford's own suggestion to that effect. In his recent post on social media, he responded with these words: "Love you, big brother, but nah, I think me and Gervonta Davis fight is the biggest one in the sport. The PPV numbers are going to be out of this world. Watch what I say." According to the unbeaten former champion, a bout between him and Davis is among the most important bouts in boxing right now and shouldn't be placed on the undercard. He stated that instead of taking a back seat to Canelo and Crawford, a fight like that should be the main attraction of its own show. Although Stevenson is still willing to fight Davis, his position implies that if the bout is not designated as a main event, negotiations may be difficult. Meanwhile, Gervonta Davis has yet to respond publicly to the idea, leaving fans curious about whether the fight could happen and under what circumstances. However, Davis has shared his thoughts on fighting Shakur Stevenson in a recent interview. While speaking to the media, he made clear that they are using his name in order to get more fame and more views. Moreover, they are creating hype using my name because no one wants to watch them.
And another thing, they tired of his ass. Nobody want to keep watching that boring shit. That's why they want to argue. Let me hurry up and let me hurry up and cash him out. That's basically what they want to do. That's why they keep streaming my name.
While talking in the same interview, he said that Stevenson has no skill. He added, "Only defense does not win fights for you." He also questioned the defensive skills of his potential opponent and marked that in his recent fight, he was getting badly hit.
People want to see if you can solve that puzzle, that defense and all the skills he's got. They want to see.
What skill? Like, what, show me. He was getting hit the other night.
He was. Early, couple times. But it's boxing, you're going to get hit.
If you hit him, how it goes?
You know how it goes. Everybody right here. You know how it goes.
Moving on, Terence Crawford has said that he would like to have a high-profile fight between Shakur Stevenson and Davis on the undercard of his planned September 2025 mega fight with Canelo Alvarez. In response to his statement, many reactions from the boxers, analysts, and the promoters have been made. Moreover, Crawford thinks that including this bout would make the event much more appealing and make it one of the most loaded programs in boxing history. He said, "I don't know about the undercard. It's going to be crazy. It should be crazy." He further added, calling it a dope. "That would be dope. If Tank was not so cocky to be on a Terence Crawford undercard, that would be dope." Moreover, he also said, talking about the probability of the fight and the fighters getting agreed to it, "But I don't see Tank taking a back seat to any fighter because he will think it's the Tank show. So I don't know, but it should be a good undercard." Given that Davis has already expressed a reluctance to appear on undercards rather than as the main attraction at his own events, this comment implies that Crawford may have trouble persuading Davis to comply. While sharing his opinion, Eddie Hearn has been vocal about his interest in making a blockbuster fight between Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta "Tank" Davis in 2025. After signing Stevenson to Matchroom Boxing in August 2024, Hearn laid out a strategic plan to build his momentum before setting up a potential clash with Davis. Stevenson was scheduled to face Joe Cordina in October 2024 and then William Zepeda in early 2025. These fights were meant to establish Stevenson as an even bigger name, making the Davis fight more marketable and significant. Hearn sees this matchup as one of the biggest possible fights in boxing, showcasing two of the best undefeated fighters in the sport.
And Shakur should be fighting Tank. Tank should be fighting Shakur. Shakur is one of the best fights in boxing. Two young American superstars.
Hearn has also made it clear that he is not specifically chasing Davis for this fight, but believes that when a fighter like Stevenson is on the path to greatness, major fights like this naturally fall into place. He has expressed strong confidence in Stevenson's ability, stating that he believes Stevenson is the one who can hand Davis his first loss.
He also wants to be a true great. He wants a legacy in the sport, and to do that, beating Gervonta Davis would give him that legacy. He's 28 years old, he's a 3-division world champion. Like, he's already achieved a huge amount, but he wants the biggest fights. He wants to prove himself as the best in the sport.
He praised Stevenson's boxing IQ, defensive skills, and well-rounded abilities, arguing that these attributes could pose a serious challenge to Davis. Hearn stated, "For me, this is one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters on the planet now. There's so much more for him to give." While praising Shakur, he further added, "He's not even scraped the surface in terms of his ability, his quality, and the legacy he will produce in the sport." On the other hand, Davis remains one of the most dangerous punchers in boxing, known for his power and explosiveness, making this fight an intriguing clash of styles. Another prominent figure, Stephen Edwards, a boxing trainer and analyst, recently talked about a possible bout between Stevenson and Gervonta. Edwards stressed that Stevenson would have to take a risk-free and non-violent approach if he wanted to have the best chance of winning.
I think he's going to have to fight a risk-free fight, score points, a non-violent fight, dumb the fight down, not take any chances, just score points like it's kind of like amateur boxing. Don't try to put any power on his shot, just touch Gervonta and score points and get out of the fight.
He suggested that in order to score points while avoiding risks, Stevenson should use his defensive prowess and ring IQ rather than confront Davis directly.
I don't think he can knock Tank out, so the only way he's going to win is to fight that defensive fight, 35 punches around, touching, moving, not giving up too much.
However, Edwards pointed out a major challenge with Stevenson's approach that might not be viewed favorably by the judges. According to the trainer, if Stevenson is too defensive and doesn't engage enough, he risks losing rounds simply because Davis would appear to be the aggressor. Edwards also acknowledged Davis's knockout power, warning that any mistakes from Stevenson could be costly.
Now, because Shakur actually, they say he can't punch. He's not a big puncher, but he's good at punching to the body. He has pretty good body shots. Gervonta Davis is a master counterpuncher. If you reach down to his body, he's going to clip you. So you got to I don't know if the judges will appreciate Shakur enough. That's my honest opinion.
Overall, he sees the fight as a battle of styles. Davis's power and explosiveness versus Stevenson's technical skill and defense.
I think Shakur and Tank are equally skilled. There's one of them is a brutal puncher, and one of them is not. One of them applies his defense in a different way. He tries to win his fights with his defense, where the other one wins his fights more with brutal counterpunching.
Looking at all these statistics, the fight would likely come down to whether Stevenson can execute his game plan without getting caught, and whether the judges would reward his cautious approach over Davis's aggression. While sharing his opinion on this potential matchup, Bernard Hopkins, a legendary former middleweight and light heavyweight champion, has also voiced his enthusiasm for a potential showdown between Davis and Stevenson. Hopkins believes the fight should have already been scheduled, emphasizing the high skill level and boxing intelligence both fighters possess. In an interview, he stated, "That fight should have been happening this week. Those are the big names people really know in boxing. Tank and Shakur are both battle-tested and have extensive IQ when it comes to the top amateur level." He added, "That's a fight I would like to see next." Hopkins expects the fight to be a close contest, but hopes for a clear and decisive outcome. "Close, but hopefully no controversy," he remarked, acknowledging the potential for an intense and technical bout. Additionally, Hopkins addressed Davis's recent discussions about retirement, expressing respect for his accomplishments while hoping that if Davis continues fighting, he takes on major challenges. He considers Davis a future Hall of Famer, but would love to see him face Stevenson before stepping away. In this regard, Bernard said, "I would say if he's going to do 1, 2, or 3 more fights, let's respect that and hope it's the fights we want to see. That's the key." Unlike everyone, a possible battle between Shakur and Davis has drawn criticism from former multi-division boxing champion Mikey Garcia, who questions the fight's entertainment value. Although Garcia recognizes Stevenson's talent and expertise, he thinks his boxing style might not provide viewers with an interesting battle.
But I'm not a fan of that fight because Shakur Stevenson is the kind of fighter that he's gonna fight his fight regardless of what the critics or fans or anybody wants to see. He's gonna fight his fight, which is fine. That's his style. He's gonna be boxer, be counterpuncher. Winning is winning for him. But as a fight fan, that turns me off.
Garcia added that although he respects Stevenson's boxing prowess, as a fight viewer, he finds such a style less captivating. He believes Stevenson's defensive and strategic approach, while highly effective, does not always lead to the most exciting fights for fans. According to Garcia, a fighter like Gervonta Davis thrives in high-action bouts where both opponents engage aggressively. He recommended that Davis target different opponents, such as Vasily Lomachenko, who he thinks would interact more directly and create a more thrilling fight. Garcia suggested that Lomachenko's fast-paced footwork, combination punching, and willingness to exchange would make for a more entertaining and competitive matchup.
I much rather see Tank fight other guys, for example, Lomachenko. That I know Lomachenko's there to fight, even though he also has great footwork and speed and reflex. But he's there to fight. I much rather see that fight than a Shakur Stevenson fight. Shakur Stevenson's gonna be a dull, not as exciting of a matchup.
These comments have sparked discussions within the boxing community about the potential dynamics of a Davis versus Stevenson fight and the balance between technical skill and entertainment in boxing matchups. As everyone is hoping for this fight and is eager to watch this matchup, boxing heavyweight Turki Alalshikh has also stated that he would want to see Gervonta and Shakur Stevenson square off in a high-profile match. He said, "I hope one day seeing Shakur against Tank." Alalshikh has expressed his willingness to help organize the tournament since he thinks that such a showdown would greatly increase the sport's attractiveness. While talking about the potential matchup, the reporter reminded Turki that he wasn't on cordial terms with Canelo Alvarez last year. The duo, though, are currently business partners. Coppinger asked Alalshikh whether the same thing could happen with Davis. Alalshikh said, "I don't take anything as personal. I am professional. I don't need to like you to talk with you." Alalshikh further hailed Davis's talent as a boxer, saying, "He is a great fighter, of course, no doubt about this, but we need to see him in big fights more and more." Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson is just as excited as Alalshikh and believes the Saudi advisor can pull off the battle. Gervonta Davis, though, has shown hesitancy about this clash, despite Turki Alalshikh praising him and the abilities he has, and also putting him #1 in the Ring magazine. Tank Davis has recently voiced strong criticisms against Turki Alalshikh. Davis expressed disapproval of Alalshikh's increasing involvement in boxing, questioning his understanding of the sport.
I just don't like how this guy come in the game and he don't know nothing about the sport. Like, he don't know nothing about the sport.
This opinion comes after Davis did not attend the London Ring Magazine Awards, which were attended by prominent people like Devin Haney, Canelo Alvarez, and Alexander Usyk. Davis felt left out and chastised Alalshikh and the organizers for their choice of attendees. Additionally, Davis expressed worries about possible biases and conflicts orchestrated by Alalshikh. He questioned the fairness of such exchanges, citing an incident in which Turki was observed telling a boxer that he was down on the scorecards during a a battle.
And you seen how the guy was, he looked at the scorecard? Yeah, he looked at it. Bro, but when I said it, it was like, the way how he was talking, he was like, yeah, that's my man, like, you know what I mean? We want to get Tank over here and fight. Man, I already know what y'all gonna do.
While talking about the money Alalshikh offers for the high-profile bouts, he also criticized him and ultimately calls that money bad money.
Yeah, but all money not good money. I'm not about to, hell no.
And despite these challenges, Alalshikh remains committed to making the Davis-Stevenson fight a reality, believing it would be a significant event for boxing enthusiasts worldwide. As everyone is talking about this possible mega clash, former two-weight world champion and boxing analyst Paulie Malignaggi has also expressed strong opinions regarding a potential bout between Gervonta and Stevenson. Malignaggi believes that Stevenson, whom he regards as the best pure boxer in the sport, would defeat Davis with relative ease. He acknowledges Davis's formidable power as a wild card, but maintains that Stevenson's skill level is superior. He said, "He is the best pure boxer in the sport. Nobody can touch him, nobody can beat him, including elite levels guys." Furthermore, Malignaggi has accused Davis of avoiding a unification fight against Stevenson, suggesting that Davis's interest in facing Vasily Lomachenko, who is perceived to be past his prime, indicates a reluctance to confront Stevenson. He emphasizes the importance of arranging the Davis Davis versus Stevenson fight while both athletes are in their prime. He praised Shakur's abilities in the ring and added Shakur Stevenson would beat Gervonta Davis and make it look pretty easy. Davis's power is always a wild card, but Shakur Stevenson is way too good. Malignaggi has also stated that Stevenson is the man at 135, highlighting his belief in Stevenson's dominance in the lightweight division. A fight between Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Tank Davis would be a monumental event for the boxing community, drawing immense attention due to their contrasting styles. Stevenson's victory would establish him as one of the best in the sport and demonstrate that talent and defense can counteract knockout power, maybe paving the way for more big fights in the future. Davis's star power and pay-per-view appeal would rise if he prevailed, solidifying his position as the most dangerous lightweight. Whatever the result, the bout would impact future matchups and encourage additional bouts between top boxers, while Davis might go for even larger fights, perhaps against legends or up-and-coming talent. Stevenson's future might feature dominance at lightweight or a move up in weight. As of now, fans and analysts are eagerly following developments, hopeful that the fight will be finalized. If it takes place, it might be one of the most important bouts in the lightweight category, contrasting Davis's strength and finishing prowess with Stevenson's technical mastery. The boxing community is waiting to see if both competitors can overcome their current obstacles and bring this eagerly awaited bout to fruition in 2025. The potential fight still faces some hurdles, particularly in negotiations. Leonard Ellerby, CEO of Mayweather Promotions, which represents Davis, has indicated that while the fight could happen, there may be disagreements over the timing. Mayweather Promotions and PBC, which have controlled Davis's career so far, may have a different vision for his next steps. Stevenson, now under Matchroom, is on a different promotional path, and coordinating the fight between two rival promotional entities could complicate matters. However, given the demand from fans and the financial potential of the fight, both sides may find common ground.